is actually my senior show. Since about May, I have been working on this piece. It is a piece reflecting on the idea of darkness and why we are afraid of it, but how we keep persisting through it. I speak to a lot of the darkest moments in my life and how I got through them and how I'm going to move forward knowing how I got through them. I would like to thank everyone in this room for coming and for supporting me in my 4 years, well, 4.5 years at Russell Sage, and enjoy the show. For this first segment, I would like to ask you to close your eyes, and I will let you know when you should open them. So, thank you. Darkness. The partial or total absence of light. Wickedness. Evil. Unhappiness. Mystery. Ignorance. As children, we experience a period of terror in which we cannot bear to be in the dark. This is a natural part of growing up and processing the world around us. Darkness represents all things unknown and possibly dangerous. What we don't tend to acknowledge is that this paralyzing fear never truly leaves us. Now, imagine for a moment that all you've ever known is darkness. Imagine never seeing sunrises, sunsets, or the miraculous beauty of the world we live in. Imagine also that you have no concept of color and therefore no preconceived notions of race. Imagine never knowing what you look like or what anyone is supposed to look like. Imagine just how different your world might be. Helen Keller said, "I can see, and this is why I can be happy in what you call the dark, but which to me is golden. I can see a God-made world, not a man-made one." You may open your eyes. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. What is your first memory? We all have one. Did you feel happy, sad, loved, Lonely? Safe? Scared? Were you even old enough to understand? What can you recall touching, smelling, tasting, hearing, seeing? My first memory is fuzzy, as many are. I was barefoot. The floor was smooth and icy cold. The air reeked of cigarette smoke, and it was difficult to breathe. I couldn't understand the words of the other people in the room, but I sensed anger and negativity in their voices. I covered my ears to block out the yelling, but that was no use. So I pulled myself up to a window. It was raining, and blurry figures rushed by. I wanted desperately for someone to notice me. So I took one of my shoes and began hitting it against the glass. Again, no use. Betcha they're young, betcha they're smart, that they collect things like ashtrays and art. Betcha they're good, why shouldn't they be? Their one mistake was giving up me. So maybe now this friend's the last one of its kind. Won't you please come get your baby? Maybe. The assignment. Write something you have always needed or wanted to say to someone, but never could or possibly ever would. Orphan. Unwanted. Unloved. Weak. Alone. Crying. I had no one. You shut me out when I needed you most. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't family. I was 6 years old. Just a child, and you saw me as a threat. What were you so afraid of? That I would remind you how little you love, how much you hate, how close-minded you are? I needed love. I needed acceptance. I needed warmth. What did you give me? You gave me looks and hugs as cold as ice. You called me fat, ugly, and odd. You gave me nothing when I needed everything. I grew up longing for the day that you would smile and hug me like you really loved me. Then you laid in a hospital bed, dying. I realized too late that my grandmother loved me, but didn't know how to express it. Not only was I adopted, but I was blind. Both very foreign concepts to her. By the time took away any chance we had took away any bond we had formed. I never got to say goodbye or make amends. I had to learn how to forgive, not just her, but myself. Can you hear my cries? Can you see my eyes? I am calling out to you. In the summer of 2014, I was in Edinburgh, Scotland, to perform for the Fringe International Theatre Festival. We were watching another high school perform a show called Sonnets for an Old Century. The premise: a group of people find themselves in purgatory and are given one last chance to tell part of their story. A lot of the monologues were emotional, but one of them gave me chills. It was as if someone had taken a piece of my soul that I had never shared with anyone and placed it center stage. There were 3 boys, one on each arm. They pulled my arms back and it hurt. I couldn't get loose. I couldn't kick them. They weren't very strong, but they were determined. The 3rd boy was in front, trying to dodge my kicks, looking for an opening, trying to get in a good, solid punch. And still, I kept fighting. Then, a couple of other boys started to gather and laugh. And nobody went to get a teacher or a parent. When the boy in front of me finally saw his opening, he punched me right in the chest. And I felt my head exploding as if the blood from his punch was rushing right up into my face. I could feel my mouth open and saliva dribbling out. The laughter grew stronger after that. I looked up at the school and saw a couple of girls looking down at me from the 2nd floor window. They weren't moving, or anything. I think I saw one of them shake her head no. But no one was rushing down to rescue me. It was then that I realized the conspiracy against me. I started to laugh. And the next time I looked up at the school, I could see myself looking down at myself, not moving. Like I was another co-conspirator, maybe even the worst one, maybe the leader. Looking down at myself, passive, holding hands with the cool girls by my side, just slowly shaking my head. No. For me, Third grade was hell. New school, new teachers, and no friends. It didn't take very long for me to become the class joke. My teacher even encouraged the teasing and would often make fun of me or yell at me in front of the class. On the bus, kids threw things at me, swore at me, and called me names. The playground was the worst, though. Not only were my classmates mean, but I became the target of a group of 8th grade boys. Every adult I told didn't believe me until I stopped trying. They told me it was my fault that I was being treated this way. Eventually, I believed it. I believed that I was wrong. I even began to believe that the world would be a better place without me. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. Find it hard to tell you, find it hard to take. 'Cause when people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. 3 a.m. White floors, white walls, white sheets. Through hazy consciousness, I can hear the clock on the wall ticking, reminding me every single second that I am still alive. But I don't want to be here. This isn't what I planned. I just want everything to stop. I want the clock to stop ticking. I want time to stand still. I want so many things, but I don't want to die. Dying was never my goal. They don't understand. I only wanted to run, to escape the darkness and to numb the pain. I remember too much, and it feels like I am going crazy. I remember all the yelling. I remember being shaken and screamed at. I remember being hungry all the time. I remember being scared to go to sleep. I remember being laughed at. I remember being pushed, tripped, spat on, hit, shoved in lockers, having my hands hit with a ruler, and my chair pulled out from under me. But most of all, I remember him. I remember his voice, his smell, his hands, his weight. I remember everything and want to remember nothing. I'm still here. Now what? What's the point? What is the point in me? It should have been me. I was supposed to die, not you. You were so vibrant, talented, and selfless. You had your whole life ahead of you, and I will never understand why. I had a dream 2 weeks before. You were driving me home after your graduation party. It was getting dark and it had started to rain. The road was slippery, and you lost control for a moment. The car swerved, and we drifted across the line. It couldn't have been more than 10 seconds, but it was enough. Crash! A truck came around the corner and didn't see us in time. My seatbelt wasn't clipped in properly. It came undone, and I went flying through the windshield. I was pronounced dead on the scene, and you were rushed to the hospital. I dismissed the dream because I had nightmares all the time. 2 weeks later, I ended up at someone else's graduation party instead of yours. That weekend, I was going to go to your cousin's bar mitzvah. I got to the rehearsal dinner that Friday night, and my world was shattered there in the parking lot. As Jamie said the words, Ellen is dead. My dream flashed by in my mind, and I knew exactly what happened. Your mother was there, and I couldn't even look at her. It was my fault. I hadn't said anything. I wasn't in the car with you where I was supposed to be. It should have been me. I still can't help but feel a sense of guilt whenever I think of Ellen. Logically, I know there was nothing I could have done. But I don't think I will ever understand why. Ellen was so many things to me. She was someone I looked up to, and someone who supported me when others didn't believe. To me, everything about her was beautiful. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your pain and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll find that life will see you through. If you just light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile what's sleeps in crying. You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. I need surgery? The word catches in my throat as I try to process. I've had surgery before, so I know what this means. But surgery on my eyes? Yikes. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be put to sleep for 4 hours so doctors can poke needles in my eyes. I don't understand. How is this going to help? The world is fuzzy and spinning. It hurts so much. Why? Surgery was supposed to help, so why does it feel like I'm in hell? Surgery after surgery. Will it ever really be worth it? Seventeen surgeries between my freshman year in high school and my second year of college. Recovery could take anywhere from 1 to 6 months. So many doctor's visits that I'd memorized the vision chart and the entire ophthalmology floor knew me. I was examined by multiple groups of medical students and went through just about every eye test you could think of. After one of my surgeries, I developed a very bad infection. It wasn't responding to the drops, so my doctor decided to take extreme measures. While still awake, with nothing to numb the pain, clean my eye out with iodine. Another time, my eye pressure dropped so low that I was put on medication that made me hear voices. All this to preserve the vision I had, and hopefully to slow down my vision loss. It's been 2 years since my last surgery, and I still find myself wondering, was it all really worth it? Was it really worth delaying my inevitable, total blindness? In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel, and the endlessness that should be. You are both from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort. That's enough, they say. It's all in your head, they say. Stop looking for attention, they say. Grow up, they say. I can't breathe. I don't know how it started this time. Moments ago, I was fine. All at once, my chest tightens, my heart races, my hands sweat, my whole body tenses. I cry, I shake, I hyperventilate. I try, but I can't talk. I think I'm going to be sick. Now everyone's looking. No one knows what to do. No one knows what to say, so just breathe, they say. I can't breathe. Someone, please help me. I try to say. Then I pass out. I wake up in an ambulance. We're going so fast and everything is so loud. I hear someone say, it's a code blue. I don't know what this means, but it can't be good. I can't feel my arms or my legs. I still can't talk, and I still can't breathe. I pass out for a second time. I wake up in the hospital. Wires everywhere. Machines beeping. A breathing tube. One of the most terrifying moments of my life. I'd had panic attacks before, but never like that. I've been told that my face actually turned blue. I thought that only happened in the movies. It was then that I knew that I needed help. About 6 months later, ended up in the ER. The medication I was on had warped my personality. I was moody, withdrawn, and emotionally imbalanced. I was hearing voices. I was afraid of hurting myself. Most of all, I was afraid of hurting someone else. I spent a week in a psych ward, something I find difficult to admit. It was there that I was diagnosed with PTSD. I thought that was something that only veterans had. But it makes sense when I really think about it. I've never been a soldier. I've never seen battle. I've never witnessed someone be killed. But I have fought a battle of a different kind against my past, against my brain. I am fighting fear every day. In the face of a Second World War, President Franklin Roosevelt famously said, "Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." You are lonely, then you will know when someone needs you, you love them so. I won't betray your trust, though people say I must. My heart will stay true, just as long as you need me. When I was about 8, my sister and my mother were very excited to show me the film Oliver Twist. From the moment she appeared, I was captivated by the character of Nancy. At some point, I ended up watching alone. And it wasn't long after that that Bill Sykes killed Nancy. I'd been bothered by his treatment of her the entire time, but this sent me into hysterics. I started screaming at the television, "No! Stop! Leave her alone! She didn't do anything wrong! She loves you! She loved you." When I was 12, my best friend and I auditioned for a play. I was cast, and he wasn't. I saw him as a little brother, and I wanted to do something to cheer him up. My teacher pulled me aside one day and started talking to me about Oliver and how she'd always wanted to do a production of it. Then she remarked that I would make a wonderful Nancy. Memories of my only experience with the story flashed through my mind, and my immediate gut reaction was no way. again, my favorite character was Nancy. And I listened to Shani Wallace sing As Long As He Needs Me probably 4 times before I could move on. Not only did the song speak to me, but I didn't know that someone could sing with so much feeling and vocal control. I wanted to sing like that. I came back the next morning and told my teacher I was going to write and direct an adaptation. All along, I still did not want to play Nancy. Even though I had been singing my entire life, I just knew I wasn't good enough. My teacher insisted that I was. Terrified of what I'd gotten myself into, I decided to write to Shani Wallace, who played Nancy, and tell her how much I enjoyed the film and admired her. I told her about the show, and thinking nothing would come of it, I actually invited her to our performance. I just knew I'd made a fool of myself, and even if she got my letter, she wouldn't respond. About a week later, the phone rang. My mother wouldn't tell me who was on the phone, and I almost dropped the phone when the voice on the other end said, "Hello, is this Vanessa? Vanessa, this is Shani Wallace. I got your letter." Though she couldn't make it to our performance, she did ask me to write and let her know how it went. And the rest is history. It's hard to believe, but it's been 10 years since I sent that first letter, and we are still in correspondence. She has been a great friend and mentor, and has come to represent a grandmother figure to me. Time and time again, theater has saved my life. I discovered it by accident when the drama teacher from the high school came to teach an improv class. It wasn't very popular because it was during recess time, and that was exactly why I went. The theater became a safe space with kids who didn't care that I was different. So I did youth theater up until 7th grade. And from then on, I did every school production and took every drama class that I could. Not only was each cast like a family, but each character I took on made an impression and helped me grow. I am filtering her life, her hopes, her dreams, all that make her human. I am her, and I am still me. Somehow, I am myself in another skin. Somehow, I am both of us. I feel her pain, I revel in her victories, and I cherish her memories. And that makes me an actor. If she have things to say. But I must be her silence, be her death, as we lay here together on the stage. I want to scream at the audience. Don't you get it? Why aren't you crying? She's dead. Why aren't you crying? But I am a corpse. I am dead, and I am not allowed to have any words. So I hope, I pray, that my still form is statement enough. She is a girl. I am a girl, we connected. She is my character. I am her actor. We connected. She has taught me how to be strong. I know what it is to contemplate death, to wonder how it would feel to jump, to stare out at the world and think it useless. I am in the way, annoying, a waste of space. No one ever wants me around. But she needs me. She needs me to be her, to be her life. She dies hurt and unsalvageable, and I am living. I have more than the weeping of my loved ones. I have more than a hole in the ground. Sometimes, that doesn't feel like enough. Sometimes all the hugs and kisses in the world don't feel like enough. But right now, they are. For right now, I am good. Because I stand with her inside me as the curtain falls. Because I stand with her as the audience finally cries. And now, after this show, she will help me filter my life. But she will not be my silence. No. She will be my words. She will be my voice. As I say over and over, life is worth it. Despite the pain, life is worth it. Sometimes I wonder where I've been, who I am, do I fit in? Make believing is hard alone, out here on my own. We're always proving who we are, always reaching for that rising star to guide me far and shine me home, out on my own. I was born with missing pieces. But that also means I was born unique. I have only ever met one other person with aniridia, and he has a far less complicated version of it than I do. I have no irises, which means that my eyes have no color, and I find it difficult to filter light. I developed juvenile glaucoma, cataracts, and was at risk for kidney tumors when I was younger. I also have what's called nystagmus, which is a fancy way of saying that my eyes are always moving. And I have zero depth perception. Perfect vision is 20/20. Right now, my vision in my left eye is 2200. In my right, 2400. I see light, shadow, shapes, color, but few details. Only about 1 in 100,000 people in the US have aniridia. And lucky me, I have the rarest form, which is why I developed other conditions. It also means that my doctors and I are now entering the unknown. I'm losing my sight at a much more rapid rate than anyone expected. And there's nothing to be done to stop it. I'll be the first to admit that I have my why me days. Days where I just don't want to get out of bed and face my reality. In theater, there's a term we use, fading to black. Typically, it's used during tech, and it's a matter of safety and a warning to the actors that the lights are about to go out. But we always know that the lights will eventually come back on. So we're not scared. Right now, I am absolutely terrified because my world is rapidly fading to black. The difference is I have no idea when the lights will be going out. And I know that for me, they won't be coming back on. Facing darkness, I have two choices. One, give up. Letting my fear control me and viewing myself as a victim. Or find the light. Allowing myself to grieve my losses, but then move on and find the positive. I have no say in the fact that I am going blind, but I do have a say in how I want to live my life. And I want to do just that. I want to live. I want to live my life to the fullest and find joy in what I have, rather instead of allowing what I don't have, to determine my self-worth and ability to succeed. At the beginning of this piece, I stated that the definition of darkness is the partial or complete absence of light. I have come before you and shared some of the darkest moments of my life. I do this not for sympathy or to create what some might label a therapy session rather than theater. Instead, I created this piece in order to give insight into who I am and what has brought me to this stage. I was the baby doctors thought would be blind, deaf, and dumb. I was the toddler who hardly ever slept for fear of violence. I was the child some found difficult to accept. I was the kid everyone bullied. I was the girl who thought she was pointless. I was the teenager who had to grow up far too fast. I am the woman who survived. I am the light that will guide me through any darkness. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky and the sweet